Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships game, everything in between. I got a good one for the fellas today. I'm going to talk about semen retention. And I'm going to talk personally. I'm going to talk about my personal experience and what I gain through the retention of semen. Okay? In relation to, frequently relieving myself. Okay? For lack of better terms. I've made a list, so I will refer to my phone just so I can let you know. But essentially, off by heart wouldn't be an issue. But I don't want to miss anything vital, because if you are looking to take this path and you do want some insight and some assistance, because especially, the younger generation, if not my generation, you were thrown in at the deep end with the internet, and it's not good. And on a spiritual basis, I have ideas that these things are completely intentional, and that's why it's given to you for free. And it has a direct correlation with the steep decline of testosterone in men and whatnot. So let's start how semen retention changed me, okay? I'm more aggressive. I'm a lot more aggressive. And let me follow on with saying that I'm not necessarily aggressive in an emotional way. I'm not an angry guy. If anything, I'm more resolute. And I'm more deserving of respect. That aggression comes through my actions, like getting jobs done. So it manifests external to my communication with other people. But even when it comes to people and dealing with people and handling with people, there's more directness, there is more urgency, and there is an assertive value you don't necessarily receive when you're drained and recovering. There is an overt aggressive spike that I personally experience so many days in not doing the deed. It's shameless. It's a whole, if you don't like that, I don't care. There is a assertive value that comes with the boost in testosterone, and you can say, oh, well, this says that, that says that. Trust me, a lot of these mainstream outlets are gonna be very pro and very progressive with telling you that it's completely fine to watch two people on a television screen getting it on, and you can be the third party sat in your room creating these neural pathways to finding this the way of getting off. No, that's not right. That's not right. You don't need to go into depth to see the calamity and catastrophe it's imposed over the youth of today. But nobody will speak about it due to its personal ramifications, right? So, aggressive, and I've got less time for nonsense, man. I've got less time for nonsense. And then when you act and react in a particular manner, which showcases that need for getting to the point, you're unapologetic in doing so. They say a week in, generally speaking, as an estimate, around a raise of 45% in your natural testosterone levels. So if you are to have a look at the effects of bodybuilders, powerlifters, strong men, when they inject a surplus of testosterone into their body, you can find a correlation with how it will affect you if you are used to regularly just relieving yourself. And I would do so, because my libido's through the roof, let alone after stopping. But with my libido being through that way, and I'm working all the time, I would utilize that as stress management. It would be a relief for me. It would be quite clearly a fast track to dopamine. And these get rich quick schemes don't work, do they? Instant gratification does not work. And you only find out when you rid yourself of that problem and that toxicity and that devilish situation. You relieve yourself and you are human once again. And with you being human, you are man. And the man attracts the female. The male attracts the female. The masculine attracts the feminine. And the testosterone that is formulated and accentuated in what you've got going on downstairs, when that exists, you are 3 times the man you are than without. Carelessness. A significant element of masculine nature is the idea of being able to take risks. Okay? There's a careless nature that comes with it. And so far, you can perceive these through your own lens. Because you might see this behavior as volatile and detrimental. To say I'm aggressive. To say I'm careless. But let me tell you this, although that is the truth, and although you invite a specific type of negative polarizing energy in relation to that, you don't care. You don't care because you can withhold that weight upon your shoulders, which you couldn't do before. Real talk. Bring it. If you've got a problem, you can say it to me. I'm not an emotional man. I'm still as logical as I've ever been. I'm still as rational and stoic as I've ever been. But I'm more direct and frontal. And people sense that. Men sense that. So although there may be a polarization, although you may be more domineering without intention, you don't get yourself into problematic situations because people understand where they stand and they see you as a man. They don't take it personal. And if they do, that carelessness, it doesn't matter. They say that you should be fearful of the weak man because the weak man acts on impulse and the weak man is fragile and will act up. The powerful man, at the other hand, has self-control. Let's keep going. An emphasized connection to spiritual texts and concepts. You're more alert. You're more in tune with the information ahead of you, and that is because not only do you have an excess of energy that interlinks with the world around you, you are of a higher frequency, and in participating in these higher frequency movements and behaviors, you can start to connect and understand more so the higher registers of what you read and perceive. You find connection. You absorb information at a better rate, especially within the spiritual realm. The power of semen retention is highlighted and concentrated on within secret societies who focus primarily upon esoteric knowledge and understanding. And why wouldn't they? If I, as a man, need to preserve myself first and foremost, and secondly procreate to ensure I continue on through one way or another. Why would I relieve myself of the driving force that allows me to fast forward to where I need to be and go? This is why they relieve you of this energy. They rid you of this energy and get you hooked onto ridding yourself of this masculine energy. Let's keep going. You don't... I'll re-clarify. I've gone onwards. This links into the way you communicate with people. There's no people pleasing. You stop people pleasing, man. What's a big turn off for women? People pleasers. Who get walked all over? People pleasers. You stop people pleasing. There is a hard wiring within you that naturally provokes the masculine essence and principle outside of your awareness. And you become in touch with that naturally when you refrain from ridding yourself of that incredibly powerful masculine seed. The amount of strain it puts upon the body. A little death. An orgasm is called in French or something along the lines. That's how it is translated. The amount of nutrient and energy beyond our comprehension we give when we relieve ourselves of that incredibly vital product, vital to the extent of the be all and end all of life. It goes without saying, doesn't it? When you withhold that, you are now full. You are whole as man. If you are to be number one as a leader, which is what you should be perceived as of a man, that would mean you are number one. Number one is whole, single. When you take that one and you rid it of energy, what does that one become? But when you are whole and full, it's a different situation. I don't need to go too deep into this, purely as there's a time and a place to discuss this, and I referenced it briefly earlier, but you will start to understand why they give you pornography for free. The moment you put it to one side and you stop acting in cooperation with that media, you will see exactly why they give that stuff to the masses for free. And that's all I need to say about that one. That's your own journey. I don't need to talk about that here. Let's move on to a personal story. A fascinating one. I spoke to someone. I said, very beautiful woman. I said, what would you do if your partner... We were in discussion about this. We were in discussion about this exact topic. I said, what would you do if your partner and you were to engage in sexual contact and intercourse, but he didn't finish? Both of you were pleased, you were happy, you got what you wanted, but he didn't finish. And she responded to that with, I'd have to make it happen. I feel like it is my duty, and I would not be content until he finished, regardless of what he said or not. So take that as you want. Take that as you want. You could perceive the feminine in that means as a detriment to man, if you were to approach it from a misogynistic viewpoint. But you have to understand, if that is a tiny micro gesture in a relationship as to where this has been actioned during the act, if you are to relieve yourself of, that's not the right word to use, if you were to retain this energy and go through life, I'm not saying, I'm not an advocate for, you know, months on end and years on end, because I like to get it on. I'm not at a point in my life where I feel like I should be I keep using the wrong term. I'm talking about relieving and relieving. I'm not at a point in my life where I feel we should, or I should, restrain from engaging in sexual activity with women. If anything, I'm really enjoying it. And that's a vice of mine. It's lustful behaviour, and I should repent for that behaviour, most definite. It's not good, and I understand that. But at this moment in my life, I'm practicing that act. And think about this. So within that little micro gesture of the man actually penetrating the woman and not finishing, and her feeling that she needs to drain him of that for her own particular biological purpose and psychology and reasoning, then if you are to walk on this beautiful earth of ours, having retained this energy, on the macro scale of things, the women you come across will feel the need to relieve you of that energy. They will find and identify that energy within you during your communications and engagement, and they will feel a need to relieve you of that energy, such as the microcosm that we spoke of within that tiny space in a bedroom. That's attraction. That's sexual attraction. I want to sexually engage with this person. That's the energy you will emit. Whereas before you were on an even playing field, and this isn't to puff up your chest and act to be more and beyond the next man, but whereas before you were on an even playing field with your fellow man, now you are in a lane of your own. You are independent but not isolated, because you still exist and you are comfortable in the space of community, but you see the weakness in the men around you, which you may not have really had put before you as bold as before, and you may call that predatory. But it awakens a lion inside of you. You know? It's not that you act upon that in a mischievous way, but you do perceive your fellow man in a different way. And on that note, I'm signing out. So click like and subscribe, because I'm uploading every day. 2 links down in the description of the video. One's my catalogue of body language, where you'll learn how to read people. Over 220 videos. It's a YouTube playlist. It's free. Second to that is the Patreon, where you'll join me in watching real life footage of first dates. I'll break down the attraction and the repulsion body language. No matter where you are in the world, you'll see it manifest around you, because it's hardwired within all of us. I'm signing out. Peace.